No,
Can I coach
because
anybody?
it is about learning to coach. However, learning to coach can show up in so many areas in your life. So it's not so much like, okay, I'm learning to become, it's called SoulFit Academy. So you would be a SoulFit coach. However, what we learn in the coaching process can be purely and utterly for your own personal development. And it's a very, very thorough deep dive, because one of the most powerful ways that we learn is through teaching. So as we're in the process of learning these pillars and learning the coaching program, there is a buddy up system, and we start to share it with other people and things like that, even people in our own life. So the information is becoming really, really integrated, which is something I knew why I added you to the list, is because it's the path you've been on with me. And so it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. So it's like basically what I'm sharing is everything I know. And so the other thing about it is that coaching, and especially nowadays, and with the way that the world is evolving into so many different industries and so many different ways, coaching, like soul aligned coaching, can show up in so many areas. You can integrate it with everything you do. So it's not as if like, oh, I'm changing career. It's like, how can I bring coaching into the career that I have already? How could I bring coaching either into maybe a sideline or something else that I'm interested in, integrate it, like what we've talked about before, Tess, with how can I be of service and how can I do this as a healing sort of situation? And it's like, okay, how can you incorporate your creativity, your art?
Yeah.
Way of going, okay, well, if you actually have a coaching foundation, there's all those things you can draw on that give you support on how can I be a coach.
Yeah.
In every other way. And there are so many different target audiences we can work with. So it's not necessarily like, okay, a coach is for somebody who is already an example of an optimized health and fitness soul, health and fitness person. It's anybody who's like, you're on this path, you're doing this work. And that's what it's about. It's about like, okay, you're already doing this work. So how could you do this work and enhance it? So I'm actually going to do a little presentation and see if I can see if that works. And then, can you see that at all? Is that on the screen?
Yep.
Okay. So that's what it is. So as we've talked about before, it's the 4-pillared soul coaching program. We focus on physically fit, mentally fit, energetically fit, spiritually fit, which are the things that we've talked about if you've done any one-on-one coaching with me, of course, also what we did in the retreat and things like that. So what I want you to really think about as we look at these things is like, be really open in your thinking of like, okay, how could this show up in my life? How could I integrate this in my life? How could this actually be something I could adapt into my life and your way of doing things? So you know a little bit about what I'm bringing to the table. So I've got over 35 years in this industry. So I have, obviously, as you know, over what is that experience of that's my spelling is fantastic always, just like you knew at the retreat when we got our hand down.
Where's your spelling? That just says SoulFit Academy on mine.
Oh, you have, it hasn't changed? Okay. Okay, hang on. Oh, I hate the way it does that when you just do the presentation. That's interesting. Okay, hang on. I'm going to go back. Okay, now I'm going to go into.
So I'm 1 of 9.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's go into this one. Are you seeing it now?
Still the SoulFit Academy on mine.
That's so stupid. Okay, hang on. Let me do this. Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Download it from Canvas.
You're supposed to. Yeah, I was trying to do it from Canva, but you're supposed to. It only ever works if you download it from Canva, isn't it? Although I do know people who've actually put it through in Canva. But the main thing, to think about is to do it in a way that, like, think about it in a way like, okay, what is the uniqueness that I bring to the table? So what is the uniqueness that is you? Okay, let's try again. And how would that look in your what sort of a coach could you be in this context? And you're just using it as a framework. So now let's see if that works now. Can you see it now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so SoulFit Academy. Now what does it say?
SoulFit Mastery.
Okay, cool. So that's the 4 pillar. Okay, so this is talking about me. All right. So basically, like I said, 35 plus years, qualifications. Don't look at the spelling in that next line. I'll fix that later.
I'm just looking at the beautiful photo.
Oh, I know. Isn't it a beautiful photo? Like the photographer's just phenomenal.
I thought that was one of yours too.
I mean, she's pretty amazing to photograph, right?
Wow, look at her. I mean, she's like, oh my God, that woman is amazing. So the other thing is, like, I have literally had hands-on coaching and training with over thousands of people and extensive training qualifications. So, and when I started in 1989, I started as an aerobics instructor. So my first course I did was anatomy and physiology. And since 1989, there literally has not been 1 year when I haven't added some form of qualification. So that's more than 35 years of like adding qualifications. Wow. And some of them are just like 1 year I might do a Reiki certificate, and another time I've done fascia, and another time I've done shamanism and tarot, and other times I've done more work on cellular health and the biohacking and human potential. And so there's always something though, but all of that is part of what you're learning from. Okay, so it's a vast array of things that to work from. And so it is about like learning from my codes, like getting coded in your framework from my knowledge and experience. And a huge part, I would say, one of the biggest things that I think I bring to the table is more the fact of like the hands-on experience. You're working with people, their psychology, and so it's taken me this many years to be able to say, what is it that I bring to the table and how do we deliver it? And that's where I've delivered that 4-pillared process, because how else am I going to share everything? It's got to be segmented a little bit. We've got to have some understanding. So a lot of my qualifications are things like fitness and sports science, biohacking, yoga, Pilates, personal training, deep dive into training mindset and mindfulness. And Human Potential Institute, Dr. Joe Dispenza, as you all know, and all of that stuff. I'm an initiated sannyas in a traditional yoga lineage. I'm a hypnosis success qualified soul coach, a mystic, and an internal seeker. So all of that obviously is what, and that's just some of the things. Obviously, it didn't fit anymore on the page.
So much. It's amazing.
Well, and it's a passion, and to me, it feels like that's why I really feel like it's the right timing. It's the right timing to go, okay, I now have real clarity on how do we bring all of, like, how can I share all of this with others because the timing is right. We need as many people as possible. We need as many hands on deck. You know, we need as many light warriors supporting the uplifting of humanity. And that's what it's about ultimately. Wow, I really have to do some massively correcting on that back page that we just looked at, that one there. So the coaching pathway is understanding that we are a multidimensional being, and to truly live a life fully expressed in all aspects of self, all of that must be acknowledged. So this is what being a soul fit coach is about. It's about having the tools to support people to be all of themselves, to be the multidimensional person. And this is what I want you to keep in mind, is that it's not about like, okay, we're going to be training people to be physically fit, so I should be a personal trainer. Or I'm going to support people in activating or improving their mindset, so I need to have NLP backing, or this or that and that. Like, there are so many specialized areas you could go into. And of course, this training is an introduction, but it's also an opportunity to be all of that and bring your own special sauce to that as well. So if you're not a personal trainer or you're not a fitness fanatic, then that's not the pillar that you're going to promote yourself through the most. However, it is super helpful to, but Linda's just asking for the Zoom link. Hang on, I emailed it to her. Okay, I'll just send it to her. This thing is probably just to, can either of you copy the Zoom link and send it to her or not? I think
Yep, probably.
I think you can just yeah, if you can do that on
You
the
got that, Tessa?
WhatsApp.
I can do that, yeah.
See, this is why, this is like, honestly, if you just like wait till you see the bigger picture of what I'm talking about. That's why I wanted you guys on the call, because we're a team. We work so well together already, and the bigger vision of what this is about is so powerful. So what you got to remember is that you may not bring, like, you may not go, okay, yeah, I'm a personal trainer, or I'm not a personal trainer, I'm not a fitness fanatic, so how can I train people in the physically fit department? But you're learning the tools, you're learning what understanding. We're going to be talking about biohacking, cellular health, physical training, fascia, all of that. But obviously in this course, that's not going to be so extensive that you can call yourself a personal trainer. But you are going to know that aspect because we are a multidimensional human being. So it's very helpful, there she is, if we have those skills on board, that we can at least know what we're talking about as far as that side of things. And we can then also support other people or direct them towards certain areas if we feel like those are needed. Same with mindset, same with energy. You might have more strength. Your strength might lie in more understanding of energetics, or your strength might lie in the spirituality side of things. The ultimate goal is that we are soul coaches and that we're supporting people to align with their soul, whatever that looks like. That's the point. They may get there through art and creativity. They may get there through whatever your special source is, but this is giving you a platform or a framework of supporting the whole person. Do you get what I mean from that perspective?
Yep.
And regardless of that, you also go on that journey. You evolve yourself in that journey as well. So let me have a look. Okay. Another good picture. So this is for, like, this is what I mean. Like, so it is for you if you've always been a seeker. You're always seeking for the more. You know there is more and you're seeking for the more. You love learning. People naturally turn to you for support and guidance. You're ready to shift your own life trajectory. You want to be part of this shift, the shift of humanity that we're in. Or you might be on a personal growth journey yourself. You're interested in the multidimensional human. You love being part of a like-minded community, or you are ready to grow and integrate and serve. So even just the fact that you may be interested in the multidimensional human, that's all you need. That's all you need, is to be interested in humans, because you're going to be supporting humans, whatever that looks like, in whatever way. So the pathway to this is like, so it is ultimately the SoulFit training, the 4 pillars, is a 4-month program. And so for the first 4 months, we focus specifically on SoulFit training on the 4 pillars. And it doesn't mean we do month 1, pillar 1, month 2, pillar 2. What we do is we actually rotate that through the month. Okay, so during the month, we're going to focus on the physical. The next week we focus more on mindset. The next week we focus more on energetics. The next week we focus more on spirituality and cosmic. And then we bring it back around to physical. And the reason I want to do it that way is so that we are month by month covering all 4 pillars and integrating the four pillars into our own life and really understanding how they all work together. And then the 5th and 6th month, so all of that is, I'll explain that a little bit more in a minute. So in the 5th month, we're doing a yoga training. So Atma's going to join us and she's going to support us in the yoga training. So in the 5th month, you're doing like a mini yoga teacher training. So we do a 4-week yoga training. And then in the 6th month, you're doing a 4-week meditation training. So we cover different meditation techniques. We're covering traditional, obviously the energetics and visualization, manifestation, all sorts of meditation techniques, which obviously is in-depth training for your own journey. And obviously it's a way to support others, because we do want to offer all of those things that I offer. You know, I offer you yoga practices, daily routines. If we want to develop a daily routine, you can draw on any one of these pillars. So you can support people in mini fasting, because you'll know about that. You can support people in how to get started in a fitness exercise routine. You can support people in a basic yoga routine and meditation practice. So for yourself or for others. But so the full 6 months includes the yoga and the meditation training. So basically what's included is every week we'd get together for, it probably is going to be more like up to 2 hours for the session, obviously, because we're doing the coach training. There'll be continuous check-ins. So I'll be directly calling and seeing how you're going and how you're integrating and all that sort of stuff. And you have that contact. There's the online platform. So I've actually got a meeting with Guru Khan on Friday, which is amazing, because they don't do onboarding, but I harassed them enough to go, look, you know, so that the owner of the company, the developer of the company, is doing an onboarding. So that system should get smoother, which is good. So all of the content, learning, contact modules, information, which is a growing process. You also have access to all my classes. So during that program, you can attend any of my yoga classes, any of my meditation classes. You can also access my meditation and yoga app. Okay, so there's also guest coaches coming on board. So there's other people coming on board. My friend Dee is going to teach us actual coaching training. So how to be a coach. She coaches on the CI, the Compassionate Inquiry coaching, which is Agabo Mate's training. So we'll get a little bit of trauma-informed training and how to actually be a coach, how to listen properly, how to coach properly, how to follow a coaching arc. And then there's also going to be one during that time, and it'll be at the end of the 4 months, one in-person training day. Now, I know that depending on where you are in the country, it may or may not work out for you, but that's a chance for us to get together and actually go deeper. So we do a whole day's training in that as well. And then we have coaching opportunities after that, which I'll talk about in a minute. And so what it is that it's $650 per month during that time. So I've placed it in a monthly fee as opposed to a full set thing. The reason is that it obviously makes it more accessible, more easy for us to achieve. And the other thing about that is you might just want to do the SoulFit 4-month and not do the last 2. If you didn't want to do the yoga or meditation. Some people might just want to do yoga and meditation. So that's another option as well. So, and it is more of an achievable thing as what it works out as a weekly. It works out like about $150 a week or something like that. So for that, you're going to be getting your coaching, your own coaching. You're going to get a coaching certificate. Obviously it's not a qualification because we're not registered as a qualification at this stage, but it is a certificate. And I thought my little presentation wasn't too bad. Just put it together today. But the other thing about that, the vision for that is why I am doing it. Currently, it is only invite only. So I'm literally not marketing this out. I'm not putting this out on social media in a big scale. It literally is people who've worked with me. People understand my work because it's about building a foundation of coaches that we can grow with, that we can create a ongoing process with. So obviously this is the first cohort, and then we'll grow onto that. And so that gives you an opportunity to be a support coach in certain things. It also gives opportunity that as we grow out things like retreats, that you can co-facilitate retreats. You can be support crew on retreats, on different platforms, on different webinars and different things. It's a growing process. And so being in the beginning, you kind of become part of that business on the bigger picture. And it's like I'm sort of gathering my crew, really. It's people who understand and know. And it doesn't mean that you have to give up everything else you're doing. It just means that that's another avenue that you can build your career and build your work in. So, Belinda, hi.
Hey.
Hello. So I was just sharing that the reason I invited you guys onto this call as well, and to explain what this is about, was to explain that one of the reasons that I wanted to present this to you guys is that I think it's really powerful to have this first cohort in particular being by invite only, people who have done the work, who do understand my sort of work, who are soul aligned in the way that they see things and where we want things to go. So that's why I thought, well, I'll present it to you guys and see what how you're feeling around it. So give me some feedback, Q&A type of information on what your thoughts are around that at this point. How can you see it fitting into your reality?
That all looks so scrummy and just absolutely perfect for me. So at the moment, I've committed for the next 6 months I've got a goal at the end of the next 6 months, and I don't know how I can fit anything more. And I just can't see how I'm juggling the things as it is. And if it wasn't for that, I'd be like, yeah, I'm in. But I just don't know if I could
Fit the timing in and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's okay though. That's okay because there's another one coming up next year as well. So that's all good. So, but it's good to know. It's good to have like the feedback on. And so from that perspective, how could you see this fitting into like how could you see this training complementing your life trajectory?
Well, one of my big goals is actually to create a retreat space where people can come and facilitate whatever the learnings. Sorry, I'm looking at you over there. I'll put you back on there.
No, that's all right. Yeah. No, that's right, because you have always had that. That's that's always been your vision. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's not about me facilitating things as such, but having the space where other people can come in and do that. But if I mean, something like that would just so blend in beautifully with me having the space and being, it would be the most beautiful synergy.
Well, on the one hand, you have deep knowing of what people can potentially facilitate there. Second of all, if you could facilitate things there yourself on in between other people facilitating things, plus also, you can co-facilitate with people. So it is like you say, it's like if it's an area you're moving into facilitation, as far as like providing a place of facilitation, it definitely there's an alignment there for sure. Yeah.
And I mean, I can't ever see myself actually being a coach. I'm not. That doesn't feel like me at all. But I love being behind the scenes and helping in any way that I can. That's more me. I don't like to be,
It's interesting because all the years that I've facilitated on the yoga teacher training, like we've done many, 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 many yoga teacher trainings. Often we'll get about 25 people on a yoga teacher training course. And it's so interesting and not everybody comes on a yoga teacher training course to be a yoga teacher. A lot of people come on because they're so into yoga and they want to develop their own personal practice and they want to go and learn deeper knowledge of yoga. And it's interesting how often on the course, the people who come on the course with the intention of teaching often don't end up teaching. It's not once they get into the course, they just don't end up being teachers. And often the people who come as like, I'm just doing this for my own, they become the best teachers. It's really interesting because it's like they didn't come there like that, but then they've come with a humbleness and they've come with an openness and a willingness to learn. So they're in this real receptive place and they become the wise and humble teachers a lot of the time. So that's what I always think.
I was like that with Qigong actually when I was doing Lee Holden's stuff. loved his stuff, and I just wanted to learn it and stuff. And then it was like, oh my goodness, I'd love to be able to teach people this.
That's
I
it.
never got to a level where I'd be able to yet. Maybe one day. But it's
Well, that's the
I
thing.
love
It's the
to
thing. It's like when,
teach.
and this is what I mean about that, is that the best teachers come from a place of passion, and they've gone on that journey for themselves. So there's this deep intrinsic knowing. And because when you come to a training course, like say with the yoga teacher training, and you've already come with a mindset of, I'm going to teach you. And so I'm learning this to teach you. There is a level of resistance to receiving. And so when people come into the course, they go, oh, no, I'm not here to teach. I'm just here to learn. And so when you're here to learn, you're just receiving. And there's this wisdom and this integration. And on a deep cellular level, you are open to receive. There's this beautiful receiving. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm in this. I love this so much. And it's changed my life so much. And I feel so amazing. I want others to experience this. So then you become a very humble teacher. So often the people who came into courses thinking they're not going to be teachers are often the best teachers. So yeah, that's another way. I always think that's why I wanted to share from a perspective of just go on the journey, because you're on this journey already. You're already engaging with a lot of what I put out there because you're interested in the content. And so that it's more about go deeper into the content and then see what it can do for you. And maybe you'll find a way. You don't have to see the outcome yet. You don't have to see, how will I become a coach? Oh, well, like I'm a photographer, how can I be a coach? The coaching journey, or the SoulFit coaching journey, can be just about deepening the knowledge for yourself, going on your own journey, and then it just merges into who you are. It's like the yoga teachers. It's so amazing how many people came on the course not thinking they're going to be a teacher. And like we had a lady who's an artist, she's a painter, and she ended up doing retreats integrating yoga and painting, so that like she was able to use her painting, but then with the knowledge of meditation and yoga and movement and the philosophies of yoga and what the intention of yoga is, which is to yoke with your all of who you are. So and once she came into the understanding of what yoga is, then the artistry is yoga. And so that, it's just really from that perspective, just allow the journey and see how that unfolds. So yeah, I get what you're saying though. The timing has to be correct as well. So how about you, Tess? What is your sort of, because you've been on this journey forever and a day with me.
I know. Well, as you know, I like things to kind of unravel, and we have talked about me wanting to be of service, and I am of service with my work, with my mahi and what I do and photographically, but we have talked about how, I also have these healing abilities, energetic abilities, and I think, I'm getting to the point where all my life, this energetic kind of healing ability is always sort of sitting there. And I don't really know, I don't really know how to unravel that. And so I've had thoughts lately of the photography and healing aspect and how to blend that more. And also the creative space for people that aren't creative, like, and blending my abilities of meditation and presencing and, all that kind of energetic stuff, sitting with self and bringing that into a creative space. And that potentially could end up with ceramics, like bringing people into that space. Yeah, so those things are sort of floating around. And also the lately I've been thinking about if there was an energy course that came my way, if it landed, I would probably jump. So I haven't really thought about, I have thought about being a counselor in my time, but it hasn't eventually. So, if things don't just grab, I don't go there. Yeah, they just
And
have
that's
to
the point
feel.
really with one of the reasons why what came through for me in this was like, okay, SoulFit Academy, because what my intention with this is like that what we actually are doing is we are soul coaches. That's the outcome. And so I've always sort of had this thing of like, well, how do we bring in all of these different aspects? And so separating it into the pillars, like what we did on the retreat, where we covered all of the pillars. But what you saw on the retreat is like we started with having an understanding of what the physical body does. We did some movement. We talked about metabolism and mitochondria and different things like that, so that we have a better understanding of the vessel. And then the next day we did some work around mindset and belief systems and all of those sort of things. And so then we got into energetics and we worked a bit more with the chakras and the energy and understanding. And the last day, we kind of worked more towards like, okay, how does this blend into the soul that we ultimately are? And that's kind of the intention with this process, is that the ultimate outcome when we come out the other end is that we are serving the multidimensional being, and we have the skill set to address all of the things, and we have an understanding why we address all of the things. So if we did just energy, so if we just did the energetics, so if I did a whole training on energy, so I could do a whole like, okay, you're an energy worker now. That's fantastic, and it is a big part of what I do, but I have taken a journey to understand how to truly understand energetics. And having an understanding of the mitochondria and the microtubules in the cells, and understanding like how important it is to why fasting helps the energetics, why biohacking supports the energetics. So that enhances the energy and the spiritual path. We could go on just the spiritual path. However, there's a lot of people who go into escapism in their spiritual path, and then they're suffering in their physical body. And so having an understanding that our mindset, our conditioning, and our belief systems can be a hindrance to our connection to our infinite soul self and to our cosmic self and all of that that's available to us. And so I personally feel understanding and addressing all of the layers of humaning, and yes, there may be certain areas like over the years, like now my passion is energy and spirit. And so those pillars are like, I'd love to hang out there only. However,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, totally. I just want to go there. But I also recognize that to be of service to the multitude of people who are having different experiences to us, we need to know that we need to meet them where they're at. And so if I want to meet the person where they're at and they're coming to me because I've got these sore muscles or I'm suffering from anxiety, it really helps me to be able to give them some really basic grounding biohacking tools, like, like grounding, literally grounding, and understanding what their nervous system is doing and all that sort of stuff. But my mindset ultimate goal is I want them to come back into their wholeness of who they are, and I want to support them to be a spiritually aligned, soul aligned human being. But sometimes I need to be working in their physical level in order to vibrate their physical density to a point where I can now address some of their belief systems. My ultimate goal is come here, come hang out here, because this is where the ascension is. This is where we're going, and this is where the new earth is. This is where the evolved species is. This is where we want humanity to go. And so, but we have to understand that some of humanity, we need to speak their language, which might just be, okay, get fitter and eat healthier and get your cells look well, and this is why, and get your nervous system, under control. And that's why I personally wanted to bring all of it into the training, because
you're amazing. Like, I just don't know how you remember everything. It's incredible, because I come away from some of your sessions and I'm like, go to like re-articulate it and I can't remember the
But
names.
that's why, like, you know, because when
That's
a lot of
laughing, I bet she's the same too.
well, a lot of the time, and we do our sessions and stuff, it like I'm just sharing it from a perspective of supporting you, whereas you learn the most through teaching. So if you're actually,
Yeah.
I'm sharing information, like in this training, if I'm sharing, okay, today we're going to learn about mitochondria. Whereas when we're at a workshop, when we're at a retreat, when we're doing a one-on-one session, I'm just supporting your own improvement and feeling better. So
Mhm.
it's not about like you learning anything. It's just about you having the experience. I share information, but it's about your experience. Whereas in a training, I'm going to go, okay, today we're going to learn about mitochondria and you're going to get information and like now teach it. What do you know? What do you now have? What knowledge do you have that you can teach? And then it sticks because it is hard to learn something when it's just information that's shared with you.
I'd have to study.
Yeah, yeah, it is about that. There is study, and there will be, and the reason why I've done it this way is because, of course, the first cohort is not going to be as seamless and all of that. So the platform and all of that sort of stuff isn't all, you know, beautiful, shiny, and perfect. It will grow as we go. So that's why it's not the same as like say next year when it'll be better, and it'll get better as we go as well. So yeah.
My other thing is I just started the quantum power Jean Houston's course again.
Oh wow.
Because I did that ages ago and I was like, oh wow, I need to redo that because I haven't for ages. And you know, I'm pushing to have more time down at the cottage because
Yeah.
it's, you know, I just want, that's such a physical, practical, human thing. Yeah, I need to get that out of the way. So there's going to be quite a bit of time down there, and it gets quite tricky because we don't have any Wi-Fi or anything down there.
Yeah.
And I've got this first responders project that needs a lot of energy. So when are you thinking of starting this?
Well, we're starting next month in July. So at this stage, the start date is the 15th. So it's not that far away.
That's the day we're traveling to Taumarunui to Baga.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, like, there's two things. On the one hand, obviously, it's 6 months training. It will be starting on the 15th, but there is also obviously recording. So it's not like it's not like you can't miss any sessions. Obviously, an actual in-person session is beneficial, and there will be some sort of follow-up, and that's why I do the calls with you to go, okay, how did you go with that training? Did you get integrated, all that sort of stuff? And there'll be buddy systems and things like that. But again, it's like I will follow up. Like I'm doing another call like this next week. So the intention really is to introduce what it is, how it looks, what the training would be, the amount of time it would take, so that you get an idea about, okay, I can do this or
Would it be so once a week? So that was a Sunday.
No, that's Monday.
Oh, it's a Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
And are they evening sessions?
It'll be an evening session. Yeah, it'll be Monday nights.
Well, that's quite good because Mondays are my day.
Right. Yeah. So it'll be every Monday. And then we will have, then you've got access to all the other things, the platform, and then there's a check-in as well, and then there's some buddy stuff as well. So the actual training will be on a Monday night, which will be like 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I mean, anything I do with you is amazing.
Well, and like I mentioned, the reason why I've done this by invite is because I am really specific about where I'm thinking this is going to go and what I want it to go like, and the team that I'm kind of creating and building in a bigger picture. So the idea of like events, ongoing events, there can be like workshops and retreats and other things where we have trained coaches.
Yeah.
And so that can be support teams. What I think it will be of support of for like in events where we can support other people, where there's not just one teacher, but there's like co-facilitators and coaching opportunities and things like that. So
That's so cool. I've been wanting to do a day here with Hunter
oh right, yeah,
and
amazing.
myself and Dave Wood from Integrated Training and Al and Jean and Mike, and doing a day where we all bring our gifts to the table.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, because Jean does the Tibetan rites
Oh
and
wow.
Hunter with all his stuff, and
Yeah,
Mike,
fantastic.
who's 77 and still goes to the gym every day and biking and does these daily exercises and things. And Al has done lots of Tai Chi and me with meditation and things like that. So yeah, I love
And that's the thing, is
idea of
thinking,
it.
yeah, and thinking forward of like there are more and more therapies and modalities and different ways that we can support. And so it's not about like, this is what I mean about staying open-minded as to what this could mean.
Yeah.
It's like what I said about the people on the yoga teacher training. They came in thinking one thing and they ended up completely different. Some people didn't teach, some people integrated with what they thought they were going to do, some people brought it into corporate. So they didn't see the end result. They just knew that the start of the journey was what they wanted to do. And that's what it's really about. It's like, you know, see where it takes you and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
How about you, Belinda? Have you got, I know that you kind of missed the beginning of it, but did you get a bit of an idea about what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I might have to listen to it on my drive tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
This gives you a bit more of an idea about what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I am on the cusp of as I'm now, bringing in people into my energetic business that I really don't know. Like it's really like stepping into that, mentoring people.
Yeah.
And that I am having to be a coach and having to step up. Yeah, and I'm really excited about that. It's like, so yeah, my whole spending like hours and hours, like, just rebranding myself, and that's where I'm at, because there's so much impact to be had, and and a lot of people in our collective do become embodiment teachers, or that they get into a modality, or as you know, and and I want to own that, but I want it to have my unique flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important thing that I'm trying to relay, is that these 4 pillars specifically give you a foundation to build yourself on. Like, so it's like the basic 4 pillars of humaning. It's like the blueprint to how do we do humaning well. Well, let's address all these things. And this is what I mean about like, okay, we could just be an energetics coach. We could, and that's very powerful. However, we are an energetics coach when you're doing SoulFit. You are an energetics coach. You are a spirituality coach. You are a mindset coach. You are a physical well-being coach. And it's the whole thing that is like the humaning coach, and that's why like the yoga and meditation are powerful things that I love to share, and I love the thread that through. So I've separated it to a 4 and a 6 months. So if you do the 6 months, you add the 2, but you could also just do the 4 if you feel like, okay, that's the pillars that I want to focus on. And some people will come and just do the 2 at the end. So that's sort of, yeah. But again, it's like, it's a foundation for you to build your uniqueness on, and whatever you think what you think your special gift is, you can integrate that into those pillars. Does that make sense? And you may focus on one more, like you may really love, you may find that you've got a real gift in the physical or in the energetic, and that may be at the forefront. Just like for me, the forefront for me, even though you know that I am a personal trainer and that I've got sports science background, and you know that I have shamanic training and you have all these other things, but what the main thing is that people are aware of with me is yoga and meditation. But it's not all I do, right? And so there is all those other pillars and everything behind it. So when you come to my meditation classes, you're getting all of those pillars. When you come to my yoga classes, you're getting all of those pillars. If you were to come to a fitness training session, you would get all of those pillars. Make sense?
Yeah. Hey, so would you, sorry, Belinda, am I cutting in?
No, I guess the most exciting thing that that I did hear is the training to be a coach. That's probably of most appeal to me now, because that's what I'm needing to step into in my business. And you know, I am really excited about that. So that would be that's on my radar of finding a mentor who I look up to, that, you know, that's my next, because you always need to have a mentor that's achieving what you're wanting to step into. So on a one-on-one, so that's probably, out of everything you said, I'm like, that was the thing that I was like, yeah, that's
because the other thing to remember is, like, we do a buddy up system. So the buddy up system is, first of all, you learn the most through teaching. So every module, every content that we learn, we want to teach, because then we integrate it. And some of that knowledge that you're going to integrate, like all of the courses I've done over 35 years, some of them I don't use on a day-to-day basis like significantly. However, like when I did tarot years and years and years ago, it was still part of my makeup, and now it's kind of come back again a little bit, you know, and so those things still come out. But the main thing is that whatever you learn, you're teaching, and the teaching component teaches you to coach. And we're going to learn the coaching arc, and how do you actually do a consultation? How do you actually find out what the client or the person in front of you needs? And how do you build a trajectory? Like, how do you build a plan? Okay, you're here and you want to get here. How do you support those people? What is the plan that you're building based on? And so that's your coaching arc, and that's how you learn the actual coaching skills as well as the information and content. And that's what makes it stick so deeply. It's like not just learning information, but it's learning how to relay that information and support people to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's the difference that I'm coming from, of being, you know, talking to design clients over the years, saying, what do you want? But I haven't stepped into helping people on a level of, you know, changing their life. Like that was not what design was about. Design was about just setting up their business and communicating. So yeah, that's kind of exciting to, you know, I'm already on that path with the training I've got at hand, but of course I want to be better. You know.
And I think a part of that as well, and that's the other thing about this first cohort, is that we're evolving the practice. We're going to be focusing on the 4 pillars, but we might also along the way go, actually, you know what we need. So next week, we're not going to do the training that what we said we were going to do, because what's more important is to do SoulFit, to do soul coaching. Okay, Kat, thank you. Yeah. So I might like bring in, okay, like instead of doing the physical training that we were going to do next week, we're going to just put that in the portal and you learn that in your own time. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to invite this trauma-informed coach in, and they're going to give us some training on how do we do trauma-informed coaching? How do we deal with people so that we don't activate trauma, and how do we use wording that is trauma informed, that sort of thing. So we can grow that as we go as well, which is great. Because that's the other thing that's why this is just an absolute natural fit. Because the other thing is, after all these years in the industry, I've got like 1,000,001 coaches I can draw on, people who are all different areas, the yoga teacher, the training coach, the speaker coach, numerology, human design person, personal trainer, all of those things. So mindset coach. I've got that lady. I've got one of my good friends. She is the only Dr. Joe trained facilitator in New Zealand. So it'd be quite cool to have her in as well for a session, so those things. Yeah.
But I was thinking, I liked what you were saying about maybe catching the last two, the yoga training and the meditation training.
Yeah, right.
But can you do one of the months, or do you have to do all 4?
Well, yeah, the 4 months you'd need to do all 4 because they build on each other, and then you could do the last 2 separately. I'll follow up, and let me know if you got let me know on the WhatsApp if you got any questions in the meantime or any clarification, and we will. I'll give you updates on the date